Tom Rooney of Florida, a member of the House Intelligence Committee, to shed some light on what his concerns are about this. Congressman, what can you tell us so far?
Well, the reporting that we've heard today has been fairly accurate as far as what we can say, but it is true that this specific threat has been brought to the Intelligence Committee's attention over the last several weeks, and it isn't something that we see on our regular briefings. It's something very specific and something that if I had plans to travel to certain places in the Middle East, I would probably go ahead and cancel them at this point.
So it's that dire?
It's that dire. I mean, you know, when we hear specific things from specific people, you know, the sources and methods that we use, we have signals intelligence as well as human intelligence, which tell us certain things, which lead us to believe that something may or may not occur. I mean, this is much more specific than anything we saw before Benghazi or Boston. So this is in tune with 9/11/01 with regard to the chatter. And so we have to be diligent. I know that people were talking on Fox News Sunday this morning about, you know, how it's disruptive to close these embassies. But guess what? I mean, we're talking about trying to prevent a catastrophe. And if that has to disrupt certain relationships for the day, then it's just going to have to happen.
Yeah, and Congressman, you know, you serve on the Intelligence Committee. What have you seen over the years in terms of our progress towards actually thwarting these kinds of threats from al-Qaeda? Are we doing a sufficient job? At one point, we were hearing from the president that al-Qaeda was basically on the run, dismantled. But now we're seeing that al-Qaeda on the Arabian Peninsula, which is based in Yemen, is actually trying to apparently amount a comeback because we're seeing these threats now.
Yeah, there's certainly... They never went away. I mean, saying that al-Qaeda was dismantled was just false. Al-Qaeda was disorganized, and we certainly did a good job in Afghanistan taking away the camps and the like, but they regroup elsewhere, such as Yemen or other places where the government isn't as organized or has a relationship with the United States. It was only a matter of time before, you know, they would get back to the point where they were and have been in the past. But we have done a good job. Let's be very clear. I mean, there's been numerous attempts at terrorism that have been thwarted over the last 10 years under President Bush and under President Obama, where our intelligence community has saved lives and kept people out of harm's way. There's been a few misses, like Boston or Benghazi, where things we should have known or should have done. We made huge mistakes in Benghazi when it came to protecting our ambassador and the consulate. But in the grand scheme of things, with regard to the things that we've been able to do in the intelligence world and stop threats, has been very successful.
So, Congressman, you brought up Benghazi, and as a result of what we've seen happening in Benghazi, do you think that's one of the reasons why we're so proactive about getting this kind of warning out right now and closing the embassies and consulates in areas that, even though they might be hard in terms of defense, they could appear to be as soft targets to al-Qaeda operatives?
Well, I hope it's part of the reason. I mean, but like I said before, this threat is much more specific than anything that we had going into Benghazi. Benghazi, we just should have known because it was the anniversary of 9/11, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that an embassy in Libya, in Benghazi, on the anniversary is a day that the bad guys like to try to take a pop shot at us. So that was a no-brainer, and we left our ambassador vulnerable, in my opinion. This is much more specific. This is based on intelligence gathering and specific a specific act. So it's much more it's a bigger threat, in my opinion, than we had going into last year. But yeah, we always have to learn, and we always have to get better, and we always have to be more diligent, and hopefully that's what's going to stop or prevent this attack from being carried out.
And we should also be diligent right here at home as well. Congressman, we thank you for joining us today. Thanks for sharing your insights on this. Good day to you, sir.